I'm Matt Gross, the Frugal Traveler for the New York Times. This summer, I'm embarking on the grand tour of Europe. Over 12 weeks, I'll seek out ancient history and contemporary culture. I'll find cool hotels and eat memorable meals. And I'll stretch the US dollar to the breaking point. There are many famous streets in Paris. The Champs-Élysées, the Rue de Rivoli, the Boulevard de Saint-Germain-des-Prés. The Rue Jacques Louvel-Tessier, however, is not one of them. But on the Frugal Traveler's budget, I can't afford to stay anywhere famous. Here's what I can afford. My week here cost 350 euros, probably 200 euros less than I might have paid at a hotel. More importantly, I had a kitchen with all the essential elements.
Ready for a party.
Corkscrew, coffee, and cornichons. Plus a nice courtyard to bring in some light. Just around the corner was the Goncourt metro station and the multicultural micro-neighborhoods surrounding the Rue du Faubourg du Temple. Butchers and bookshops, cafes and clothing stores, random beautiful buildings, and of course, old women watching over it all from their windows. 5 minutes to the west lay an even more intriguing area, the Canal Saint-Martin. 10 years ago, people came here to buy drugs. Today, they come to buy design books, play games, or just to while away the afternoon.
The ambience? I really like the ambience here. Here they call it Bobo, Bourgeois Bohemian. It's full of regular people, but people who have some money too.
Maybe that's why I spent so much time here, just hanging out with my friends Edouard and Cassandre. In honor of the canal's history, we walked down to Pointe Éphémère, a super hip but still cheap bar where we ate steak tartare for dinner. One day, however, I wandered a bit farther afield, down to the Île Saint-Louis, one of the Chichi Islands in the middle of the Seine. Now this was a famous street, where people stand in long lines for a taste of Bertillon's famous gelato. I was less interested in gelato than in the Librairie Ulysse, the oldest travel bookstore in the world. For almost 40 years, Catherine Domain has collected and sold travel literature representing every corner of the globe.
So it's organized by continent. Alors, this is Africa, this is Asia, America, the maps are over there.
There's even a section for imaginary countries.
The best travel writer being my friend who, alas, has left us, Nicolas Bouvier, and you will see him here. He has written this, which is, in my opinion, the best book in this shop.
Best book in the shop? I had to get it. Back in my neighborhood, I'd had an idea. Since I was feeling so at home, I thought I'd throw a housewarming party. A frugal one, of course. So, Sunday morning, I rode the metro to the Marché d'Aligre, which a reader had told me had great produce, and which friends told me was cheap. This was a classic Parisian market, with so much color and activity that I could have lingered all day without actually buying anything. Yeah, right. This produce was so beautiful and cheap that I wanted to buy it all. In fact, I almost did, and still spent less than 20 euros. At home, I spread out my materials and got to work on prep. The studio's knives weren't so sharp, so I used my own. Around 5 p.m., the guests began arriving. Some helped themselves to snacks. Others helped me in the kitchen. And soon the room filled up with friends and friends of friends, most of whom I'd met just in the past week. They came from all over the world, speaking a dozen different languages. We ate and drank, and time passed in a blur. I was beginning to feel like, well, a local, with cosmopolitan friends and a neighborhood to call my own. Who needs the Champs-Élysées? As the night wound down, There was only one thing left to say. Pour le New York Times, je suis Mathieu Cross, le flâneur frugal.